just off the record, I don't have any impersonations. Good evening. Thank you to Autism Speaks for this important and wonderful evening. My name is Roberta Biskin. I am the mother of 3 great kids, Connor, who's 12, and my twins, Ayla and Will, who are 10. I'd like to share my own personal story of what it's like living with autism for my family. My son Connor was diagnosed with autism when he was 2.5 years old. I didn't know much about autism or what to expect, but I knew from that very moment that my life would become devoted to educating myself to better understand what autism was and what I would need to do to support my son. What I didn't know was that I was about to embark on a journey where my days would be filled with doctor's appointments, school meetings, speech and occupational therapy, social skills groups, and in-home supports. I didn't know I would witness my son spend an agonizing 8 days cooped up in a tiny windowless room in a hospital ER due to the lack of available care. I didn't know that school, a place where our children are supposed to be able to learn and thrive, would become a battleground. I didn't know going to the grocery store would never be the same. I also didn't know at the time that I'd end up divorced. Autism became my full-time job, in addition to trying to raise 3 young children alone. Like many living with autism, my son has always been rigid, has had difficulties with communication and understanding social cues. Waiting or sharing attention can also cause frustration. He often has daily meltdowns due to frustration or when limits are placed. We try hard to be structured and to ensure Connor knows what to expect at all times, as change is also very difficult for him. He struggles with compulsive behaviors and obsessions and often fixates on things and is not able to move on. In addition to his autism, he also carries the diagnosis of sensory processing disorder and is often overstimulated. All of these things combined can lead to severe dysregulation or lack of impulse control. Many parents like myself have had to learn early on that in order to get our kids the level of supports they need, we have to fight. Not long after Connor was enrolled in the special education program at age 3 in our school district, my fight began. While I knew the district had to push back to preserve budgets, I never expected the lack of awareness and understanding when it came to how autism impacted my son and my family as a whole. Over the next 4 years, my family was living in chaos. Our lives revolved around Connor and his needs. We really had typical family time without interruption, as Connor required most of my attention, and that meant my other children would often be forced to take the back burner. In fact, being here tonight reminds me of last year's Autism Awareness Day. It was the Red Sox game. This was our first visit to Fenway Park as a family, and we were all super excited, especially my son Will, who is a huge Big Papi fan. Connor had a social story to prepare him for the big day, and we talked about what to expect and what to do if we were feeling like we needed a break. He was eager and determined to hold it together. After the first inning, Connor asked to leave. I tried having him use the strategies we talked about, but he started to unravel. He screamed and swore. Ayla and Will wanted to stay so badly. My heart broke. I had Connor, who just couldn't tolerate being there, and I had Ayla and Will, who wanted and should have been able to enjoy this experience. The look on their faces was a look I'd seen too many times before, and I hated it. I can't even count the times we've had to leave places such as the park due to Connor's unintentional but inappropriate or unsafe behaviors. Not only did Connor lose out during these times, but also Ayla and Will. Even something as simple and necessary as food shopping was always difficult due to Connor often throwing himself on the ground, kicking and screaming when he couldn't have what he wanted. This would result in stares, or judgment, like the stairs and judgment you'd endure when you bring your kids to the park sometimes. Because what if all the swings are being used and Connor has to wait? What if he invades personal space? So many times people would assume he's a bad kid, or I'm a bad mom, because he doesn't look like anything's wrong with him. On the flip side, there have also been those rare occurrences when we've had to leave somewhere and people have run after me to give me a pat on the back, or tell me they get it and that I'm doing a good job. It's those people that helped me realize that instead of running away from these situations, to use them as teaching opportunities. Today, if Connor is having a meltdown in public, I speak up. I explain what autism is and how it affects the person. I educate. During that long 4 years, I became an educated and confident advocate and was ultimately successful at winning the fight. Connor was placed in a great special needs school program that was much better equipped to support his needs. And finally, we started to see some progress. While I felt good about our victory, sadly I knew this was not the end of our fight. I had to practically beg the school district to send Connor to a more appropriate summer program where his needs could be met. I was able to advocate for him to attend a camp. The program came highly recommended since it's specifically designed to support kids on the spectrum. Finally, my little guy would get that summer camp experience he so deserved. Except that's not exactly what happened. While he enjoyed many aspects of the program, his needs were too significant, and quite often he required more support than the camp is equipped to provide. Although he was able to complete the 2-week session, he wasn't able to enroll the following year. We need to do better. More camps and more support at these camps. Many people with autism also struggle with mental health issues. Connor has had 4 hospitalizations over the last 4 years, and each time he's had to wait in the emergency department to get the level of care he needed. Sadly, those scary 8 days we spent in the ER 2 years ago is not uncommon for kids with autism. As they are boarded in ERs for days, sometimes even weeks with staff who aren't trained or educated in caring for those with autism. This is unacceptable, especially now that more and more of our kids are in crisis. My family has come a long way along this journey. I recall back in the beginning thinking Connor would never talk, and now he can talk your ear off. Yeah. I remember he would bolt, and now he stops and looks both ways before he crosses the street. I remember worrying that he'd never know how to show empathy or affection. And today, if he encounters someone who is sick or hurt, he walks right up to them, asks if they're okay, and as we walk away, he turns her back and says, "I hope you feel better soon." While Ayla and Will have only known this life and have sacrificed so much, they amaze me by wanting to help me in supporting Connor. Autism has given Connor the power to teach his brother and sister, even if they don't know it yet, how to be kind and accepting of all people, and even more accepting of those with challenges. Living with autism has taught my family so many valuable lessons: patience and compassion, strength and determination, and the true meaning of unconditional love. It's taught us that although the hills may be harder to climb, we can and we will get to the top. It's taught us acceptance, and yes, Connor may in fact be different, but he is absolutely not less. I have been so lucky to have such a strong support system within my family and friends, and my fellow warrior moms and dads, with whom without I wouldn't have made it this far. I am beyond proud of Connor and how incredibly hard he works to reach his goals. His achievements, big or small, give me the strength that I need to continue to be a strong advocate. My story does not end here. The number of children diagnosed with autism every day is staggering. 1 in every 68. Yet we still don't know the true cause, and there is still no cure. There is so much to do. My story will continue to be told through awareness and education. Working together to advocate for change in the educational and healthcare systems is just as important. By sharing my story tonight, I hope you see the need to make life better now, and also to find a better way for the future. And that's what Autism Speaks is aiming at. Their impact statement is, Autism Speaks is enhancing lives today and accelerating a spectrum of solutions for tomorrow. I hope you feel for Connor's struggles and are inspired by his potential and are empowered to be part of the change that's needed for him and so many others like him. Thank you.